You are listening to WPBP 104.3 FM, The Pirate, Pearl, Mississippi.
We sit down with Sean Tyndall, Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety. We discuss the new headquarters that brought all divisions under one roof, as well as the consolidation of many departments that is bringing many divisions together to work hand in hand, strengthening collaboration, communication, and efficiency across this agency. Be sure and watch this episode, as well as all of our past episodes, on PMB TV Cable Channel 20, our Roku app, Pearl Municipal Broadcasting's Facebook page and YouTube channel, as well as our website at cityofpearl.com. The Mississippi Mud Monsters 2026 season is just around the corner with opening day set for Thursday, May 7th, 2026. The baseball season continues through early September with 51 home games at Trustmark Park in Pearl. Opening day series begins with the Gateway Grizzlies. We look forward to seeing you there. Pearl High School graduation will be Thursday, May 17th at Mississippi Coliseum. Watch the ceremony live at 7 p.m. on all of our platforms. City of Pearl YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Comcast Channel 20, or cityofpearl.com. Main Street Pearl's 2026 Midtown Sunset Concert Series begins Friday, May 22nd with Boys in the Band, the Alabama Tribute Band, and Saturday, May 23rd, Neon Mooners. Then the next weekend, Friday, May 29th, will be the Molly Ringwalds, and Saturday, May 30th, we have that Arena Rock Show. All concerts are free. Bring a lawn chair. Every concert will be held at Pearl City Park at the corner of Highway 80 and Marianne Drive starting at 7:30 p.m. Concessions will be available for purchase.
All right, here we go. And I believe everybody can hear us this time. So welcome to D&K Podcast. We apologize for the last show. We had an awesome show. You just didn't get to hear it.
I know. We heard it, but you didn't.
Yeah, we thought it was
didn't.
great. Anyways, but we are back, and we do have a special guest. I'm going to let Daryl introduce our special guest.
Absolutely. First of all, how you doing, Kim? Besides
Doing
a little
good.
bump on the knee.
Oh, yes. I mean, dancing can be brutal sometimes.
Yeah, she was saying that she took me back to I believe that was the 90s.
Yeah.
The
Did the cool, Macarena.
The Macarena.
We did a whole bunch of dances, though. This was like the last dance that I introduced. And, one leg decided to go the way it was supposed to go. The other one decided not to.
Well, our special guest is Bob Buseck. And I've known him for, I don't know, a decade or so. But he's also at Mississippi Coding Academies, which I talk about them a lot. So we're going to kind of get into some details on exactly what they do, exactly how you should get involved, because everybody should, in my opinion. Also, their next program, their next level program, all that stuff we'll talk about. But mainly his background is, IT stuff, AI stuff, cyber stuff, all things that. And of course, we'll be asking him some questions because as things have been going lately in I would say the United States, but it's not the United States. It is the actual world with technology. It is on everyone's mind big time. And the AI advancements are incredible on both ends of the spectrum. So how you doing today, Bob? Introduce yourself.
Awesome. I am doing well. My name is Bob Buseck. I am the executive director of the Mississippi Coding Academies. We are a nonprofit organization located in our great state of Mississippi. We came from an interesting concept from some gentlemen that sat around a room and said, how can we help the largest population of Mississippians better themselves in technology? And so in 2017, the Mississippi Coding Academies was started as part of Innovate Mississippi as a think tank to kind of get traditional software development and coding brought to the forefront. It was kind of a buzzword around that time. And so they started in Jackson, and their goal was to take folks off the street and folks looking for career changes into a workplace setting for 11 months, give them software development skills, and then transition them into ready workforce. And so since 2017, the Mississippi Coding Academies has had about 600 Mississippians and folks from other places, which we'll talk about in depth, come through our doors and get some type of technical training and move into the workforce. So it's a really positive mission.
Correct.
And I got introduced to the Mississippi Coding Academies through my job at the time. I was the Chief Information Officer for the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency. And during COVID, I got to meet Rich Sun, who was the founder of MCA. And he had just come to talk to me right before some interesting things happened. And so Rich and I had this conversation about, he was trying to get the state to realize the level of complexity that the students that they had at MCA developed. To work at the state of Mississippi through the state personnel board, you basically have to have a degree.
Right.
And in lieu of a degree, you have to have 100 years of experience. Right.
Basically. Yeah.
And so Rich was trying to show that folks coming through MCA had technical abilities, they had critical thinking capabilities, and that he wanted the state personnel board to agree that the equivalency of the 11th month in-depth on-the-job training was equivalent to something you would get from a community college, a 2-year and associate, something like that.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
And so throughout our processes, we were able to get some things changed across the lines with the state personnel board. But just so happened that a couple of days after that initial conversation, Governor Reeves went on TV and said, hey, we're about to open up these testing sites. And there was a ton of things that happened that really transformed how MEMA helped with the COVID process across the state. And the Mississippi Department of Health was charged with setting up all of these testing centers and sites. And they did an exemplary job of taking care of the state. But the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, through the director's thought processes, was we would be a logistical support arm for the Department of Health. And so MEMA's IT and other staff members throughout all of the Emergency Management Agency came to the direct support of the Department of Health. And we were able to grow our IT department, called MITS, MEMA Information Technology Service, from 5 people to about 33 people in a couple of days. Well, 14 of those individuals came from the Mississippi Coding Academy. So I called Rich and I said, hey, we had this conversation and I have a need. And he said, Bob, they haven't graduated. And I said, you know what? We'll work through that. And those individuals came to me and I interviewed every one of them. And I got to see exactly what Rich was talking about. They're young, they're green, but they are so intelligent. They are tuned into how the world is working today. And us as an older generation, I can remember when my grandparents was like, I will never use a computer.
I can remember that as well. Yeah.
I'll never use a calculator in the classroom.
Right.
Yeah.
Why would you need that?
Yeah. Why do you need that? Why do we need the Facebooks and the YouTubes? So learning what I did about these individuals and immediately putting them into the field, within about 3 weeks, they were all over the state of Mississippi. So if you went to a testing site to get
The
tested,
PCR tests. Right.
there was a MEMA person that was one of these students.
I remember
Setting up the iPhones and the tablets and the wireless that was used at all of these testing sites, like the testing site at the Brave Stadium, the one in the parking lot. I used to go there 2 or 3 times a week because we were having internet trouble. And so I guarantee you, one of these students at MCA, you've probably passed by them standing there talking to soldiers about how to use the iPad, or Department of Health folks, how to use. So that really got me interested into where they, as MCA students, could potentially help in the workforce, right? Because the state of Mississippi, everybody talks about the brain drain, and it's a real thing, right? And I'll kind of tell you a little bit about my story and how it kind of works into that brain drain. But it's something that we think strategically we can help combat, and we'll kind of talk more in depth about that. But that's a little bit about the foray and entry into my journey with MCA and where we're going.
So my next question would be, what was the official year that started?
So in 2022, I officially joined the Mississippi Coding Academies as the first executive director, and it has been a love and hate affair.
Sure.
To learn the world of nonprofits. And I say that because I grew up in Natchez, Mississippi.
Right.
And I still have a mother and a father, and
still got a good nuclear family.
Yeah. And I went to church on Sundays.
Yep.
And I went to high school. I went to Adams County Christian School, which is a private school in Natchez, Mississippi. I also was accepted into a drafting architectural program at Natchez High School. So I spent some time the 11th and 12th grade year going over to the public school to take this architectural class because they didn't have it in our school. And I was the worst student. I really was. All throughout my K through 12. Obviously, I'm a pretty intelligent fella, right? I figured out my life. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. But I've made a pretty good living for myself.
Right.
Working through things. But I was not the best student in the world, and it was because I was not challenged on a technical level. And that's one of the things I'm trying to rewrite from an education standpoint is,
as it should be,
as an individual. And I think some people recognized it, and unfortunately the system was not geared to be able to be a technical workforce in the 90s when I was going to high school. But I once had this guidance counselor that told me that I would never amount to anything and that I was going to be a drain on society. And I think back to, and unfortunately she's passed away, and I'll never have the opportunity to say, ha ha.
Right.
But I think back, and I think it was more of I really need to get this guy to realize there's more to him than meets the eye. And those snippets throughout my life, they play back and they influence how I help people today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of all have similar stories with us three, maybe not the same type of quote business stories, but life experience, which you can't really be taught life experience. But you were lucky, kind of like me. I lived in a small town, went to a Christian academy up until the last couple of years, and then I flipped over to the education center so I could get out of there as fast as possible. But with that being said, things were different in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
We didn't have the opportunity that young kids have now, especially on the technical level. Now, there's good and there's bad to that, obviously, of course, because we didn't know what we didn't know because we didn't have what we didn't have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when things did come out, me being young, I was the first one to jump on it. I was the first one in the neighborhood to have a pager, blah, 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 whatever, because it was always interesting to me. Now, I could have taken that path in life, and who knows, maybe I should have. I took a musician path, which is highly dangerous. But
been there, done that. Got the t-shirt.
I mean, I made that
definitely
choice.
got the t-shirt.
And Kim has a different background from both of us, but at the same time, it's similar.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Very
what I mean?
similar. And I mean, at the same time, like you said, I'm maybe a little bit younger, but I still did, I did kind of the same as you. I didn't actually finish at the high school that I was going to. I got my GED. But at the same time, if the same things were available that the kids have now,
yeah,
like what I'm seeing my daughter experience now, she's in high school. And I'm like, if we had that, number one, I also went to a very small private school that didn't offer a lot of classes.
Right.
And, you know, she at least has the ability to kind of delve into one thing or the other. She even is going to college course classes right now in high school. That wasn't available back then.
No.
And it would have been nice, you know, but I'm glad that she's able to experience it. But at the same time, I think kind of like you, like I more told myself when I was younger, it's like, you know, I'm not a good student. I definitely, school was not where I needed to be. I'm definitely horrible at most parts of it. But, you know, I feel that my life experience actually helped me get where I am today and doing better.
Absolutely.
You know, because I think we do learn from our life experiences, but it would have been nice to, you know, especially because at that time, it was still, technology was still on a very low, small level. It wasn't integrated in your lives just yet. You know?
And it's everywhere today.
Oh my God.
And one of the key factors that I tell people every day is every job today is a technical job.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you do.
It doesn't
You
matter
can't
if you're
order a
driving
taco at
tractor.
Taco Bell.
No.
You can't start the waste management truck.
No.
You can't operate the combines that gather the food for us to eat without interfacing with the computer.
That is correct.
You can't even serve tables now
You
without
can't.
having to know how to.
This is an
Yeah.
interface to a computer.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, and so we at MCA, powered by Next,
Right.
are looking at how we take those life experiences from what you've experienced, what I've experienced, what Daryl's experienced, and how do we translate that without being mom and dad saying, "Hey, 18-year-old, we know better."
Right.
We
Right.
try to translate that into a real world working experience to say, "Oh, by the way, the face tattoo is probably going to be an issue. You do need to wear a belt. You do need to wear socks." And some places still think of those things. But at the same time, the world has changed. COVID changed the world.
Period.
And as a technologist, it's something that I've known early on, that I remember getting access to the internet. I had dial up. You know, I had a computer and I was playing games online and doing bulletin boards way back in the 90s.
You've got mail.
Super nerd stuff. I'm a closet nerd though, because I'm a musician as well. And so music kind of took my route, and the nerd stuff kind of stayed paying the paychecks. Right.
There you go.
And
Best of both worlds.
and so, but we see a huge correlation between critical thinking and creativeness.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think, and probably in your case, and probably in Daryl's case, no one at your school identified at that time frame that the creativity that you probably exhibited in your whole life at that point, that it turned into mechanical and technical skill.
Right.
And so having a creative brain translates into, I don't hate technology and I'm willing to learn it. Right. And so what we're seeing now across the board is kids today have the device in their face from the time that they can hold it. It's a pacifier that I do it as a parent, right? You go to the restaurant and the kid won't be quiet. You hand them the phone and turn on Bluey, right?
Right.
And so, but they've already grown up with the technology. The problem is we haven't planted good seeds. And, you know, I get asked this question all the time when it comes to artificial intelligence. Is it a good or a bad thing? And I tell them, there is a reality of what we as a human race are creating when it comes to this technology. In the late 80s, early 90s, there's movies called Terminator.
Right.
And it's artificial intelligence. If we stay on the track that we are today, that is a possible reality that could happen. And that's what I talk about when we plant good seeds and bad seeds, because it isn't you or I or our children that will make the changes. It's the 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds today, right now, that are going to make the decisions what happens to humanity. And so we're already, they're growing up in a technological world. We probably should start planting good seeds and making sure that they have to remember that the human element is the most important part of computing.
Yes.
We have to keep computers as tools, so that we survive, right? And I think that's the biggest mindset shift that people have to understand when it comes to technology. It is a tool, and that's what we teach at MCA. We have grown leaps and bounds in a short amount of time. We started as a coding boot camp that taught traditional software development. Today, we cover artificial intelligence, virtual reality, drones and robotics, cybersecurity, software development, IT support. And it really touches every business across the board. We live in a global economy. I don't think Mississippi understands that yet. And that's one thing that I hope in the near future a lot more folks understand. But we're on a podcast that's going to be watched on a computer that comes through radio waves. I mean, we live in the Jetsons.
And they're right.
We do.
We
That's
are
very
the
true.
Jetsons. There's probably somebody watching us in Zimbabwe.
Yeah,
I have actually gotten
Yes, I know.
some out of the country
Oh, I get quite a,
viewers.
you know,
we
I get
have
a
4
lot on my
students
podcast.
right now in our software development course and other courses that are in Nigeria.
Yeah, right.
We have students in Japan and Chile, not Chile,
Yeah,
because
well,
I've been
Chile.
corrected.
I
Right?
have, I have
Yeah.
to. I have
I'm
to.
I'm poor Mississippi Bob, right?
Right,
and,
right.
and they said that's not how we say that.
I know.
I
I got corrected in the music business. It's Chile.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But
I'm
I do have
sorry.
something. Okay, so you were bringing up AI, and I'm going to ask this question for my daughter.
Okay.
So my daughter, huge artist.
Okay.
That's what she's eventually going to go to school, probably either making, drafting up like comic books or making, creating video games. So she's going to be a lot in that world. But one thing that is her pet peeve right now is AI. And the main reason it's her pet peeve is because she's an artist and she knows how hard it is to manually create art
Right.
and how much creativity you have to have and knowledge you have to have. And now you have this software, tons of software that will create it in 2.5 seconds from a computer.
Mhm.
That is the one thing she will point out to me, because I mean, now you've got ads, you've got video
Sure.
ads,
Right.
all these other things that they don't point out that, hey, by the way, this was made by AI, but you know it is. But it annoys her. That was made by AI. I don't like it. And so, like, to her, it's just she is anti-AI.
I hear that.
So-
I hear that often. And,
Me too.
And
in
so
the music industry as well.
I
too,
I
yeah.
am a father. I am a artist. I'm a musician. I'm a philosopher. I do a lot of things. I bake cakes. I make woodworking items. I've written songs. I've painted pictures. I could build a space shuttle if I had the parts. I also am an avid user, like a superpower user of AI. And I get asked this question often: will AI take away creativity? Absolutely not. I think, and I use it every day. Like while we were chatting earlier, I'm putting my thoughts into my large language model that I use every day called Carl. He has his own name. And oh, by the way, I treat AI really, really nice. So in case they do take over the
See,
world,
I do
maybe
too.
they'll leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'll cut you some slack.
Yeah, but from a creativity standpoint, musicianship. When Daryl and I were growing up in the 80s and the 90s, you picked up a guitar and you learned to play the first chords that you learned to play. There was no YouTube. You either got a book from the music store, or a friend showed you some chords and you made this horrible racket in the garage or in a barn, and you found some people that were like-minded, and you had all of these fights to try to figure out how to make a band. And then you go to a show and you do that first show and people are there and you're playing covers. And then it turns into one day you write a song. And then I remember the first time I was ever on stage in an original band, and people were singing louder than me because they knew the words to a song that I wrote. I can't do that.
No.
I remember the first time that I drew a picture that was published in something. And I think it was, I don't know, some kind of art thing where I can't do that. Yes, it can create songs today that are on the radio, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
It can create pictures that hang in galleries. Absolutely.
And it can make concert flyers
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
like really good.
It does. It helps me with radio ads. I mean, the funny thing is that like, she gets annoyed at me because some of my job requires AI.
Right.
Sure.
Making commercials for the radio, things
but
like that.
see-
But it's funny because she'll listen to it, she'll be like, that was made by AI.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, sweetie. Yes, it was.
But I'm like Bob on this one, and you are too.
Mm-hmm.
She may not be yet, because how old is she? 16.
She'll be 16
15.
soon.
Yeah.
We use this every day of our
Every
life,
day,
and
right.
it's here to stay.
Oh, it's not
you
going
can
anywhere.
It is here.
You can either
That's
embrace
exactly
it,
what I told her.
or either you can.
I said,
try
learn
to
how to
push away.
use it, like you said, as a tool. Learn how to use it as a tool just to make what you're doing maybe a little bit easier.
So you need to have her go to our website, mscoding.org, and apply and come visit with me.
Okay.
And this is what I tell this to people all the time. It's not going away. It's ingrained in everything that we do. So AI is not new, by the way.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Right.
So if you remember a little event in history called World War II, the German army had a communication device called the Enigma machine that couldn't be broken. And there was an English fellow named Alan Turing that was able to create an artificial intelligence apparatus that helped break the Enigma code. And that was in the late 40s.
Hmm.
So it's not something new. It's been around for a long, long time.
There
And
was
so
also a little movie called Artificial Intelligence
Yeah.
a
That's
very
true
long
too,
time
yeah.
ago.
And so what I will say is the human element behind what we do as creative individuals will always shine brighter than anything that artificial intelligence will do. So your
Mhm.
16-year-old daughter that is being creative and being self-expressive, that's more beautiful than anything AI could ever create.
Well, that's, I was telling her, I said, your work and your hard work that goes into it, it's going to be shown. You can't get a computer to create it the way you're creating it.
No.
Absolutely.
You really can't. And they're not going to get it perfect because we all know that when you're trying to either generate an image or you're trying to generate, you have to constantly go back and edit it. You have to constantly.
That
and then
will get
sometimes you
better,
even
though.
Well-
sometimes I throw up my hands and just give up.
So AI
That will get better,
hallucination,
though.
AI
Yeah, I'm sure it
hallucination
will,
is a real
but
thing.
still.
And I just met with some really smart folks at William Carey School of Business a couple of weeks ago. I met with the University of West Alabama. I've met with Alcorn, JSU, and I tell them the same exact thing. This is how I view AI. If you think of communicating with AI as a 2-year-old, a 14-year-old know-it-all, a 40-year-old state worker, and a 92-year-old senile person all in the same conversation, you can actually get some work done. So
I like that. I'm gonna try
a
and
lot of
remember
different
that.
aspects.
well, I mean, if you think about it, if you've had a conversation with a language model and you're talking about ice cream, well, Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors of ice cream. One of those flavors is licorice. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but it's the truth, right? So,
Right.
Right.
so when you're talking to the tool, it's funny that we say talking to the tool, but when you are, it only knows what it knows, and it is predicting the outcome you want it to generate, right? And so when you're interfacing the prompt that you give it, all it does is it goes out and searches everything that humans have ever published, and it says, okay, in this conversation, I think this is relevant, and so that's the output that it gives you. And you say, well, I asked you for a picture to Clifford the Big Red Dog. This is a blue dog from Lafayette, so it's not the same thing.
Mhm.
And so as it refines what it's trying to please you with, because that's really what it's trying to do, is just trying to give you what it thinks you asked for.
Mhm.
There's a lot of aspects that go into that algorithm to get the correct output. Now, ChatGPT 2 years ago and ChatGPT today is
Right.
a completely
Totally
different
different.
animal because of the amount of people that interface with the language models. Claude, any flavor out there, right? Is good. Gemini, they're going to give you similar results. And as we, as a race, as the human race, continue to educate it, think of it like this: AI is a toddler right now, and we all are teaching it it's ABCs. Some of us are doing good. Some of us are not, or doing bad things with it, right? But we're teaching that toddler right now. And here's the funny thing. Across the entire spectrum of technologists, from Elon Musk to Bob Buseck, we are in the little leagues of what it is. Your professionals, your Sam Altmans, your Elon Musks, the Googles, your Facebooks, we're all in the little leagues right now. No one has an upper hand because it's so new. Again, it's not a new technology, but the way that we interface with the tool is we are still creating that. Mm-hmm. In the next 10 years, when your daughter is a productive human being and paying taxes, it is going to be a different technology than what it is today.
Right.
Totally.
Hopefully she can embrace it.
Because if you think back how much it's just changed in the last couple of years, it's mind blowing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The trajectory is,
and the trajectory,
and human beings are not that smart.
Human
beings are not that smart.
No. And these alone change so fast.
Absolutely.
And same thing with AI.
You were talking about the pager.
All that.
You know, I remember having one of the first Blackberries.
Yep.
I was like,
the Crackberry.
And honestly, I coined this phrase a long time ago. I considered the area that I lived in, the Mislu, Natchez, Mississippi, Vidalia, Louisiana.
Right.
We had the Blackberries, and we called it Mayberry with Blackberry because, that's what we lived in was Mayberry. But here we are. We now have these devices that we're doing some amazing things on. One of the really cool things about this transition with the utilization of technology is how it affects education and how it affects the workforce.
That's what I wanted to get into, because your program, along with the Mississippi Coding Academies in general, are making huge strides in the education field, because I've been looking and I've been reading and I've been seeing where all you guys have been going. So from an age group specifically, you start them out at, well, how old?
So
is the youngest people you have a class for?
Right. So we have several different pillars. One of them is our age-based pathways called Next Horizons. We start at age 3. And in Next Horizons, we go from 3 to 18. So we have Next Sprouts, which are our 3 to 6-year-olds. We have Next Explorers, which is our 7 to 12-year-olds, and Launch is our 13 to 18-year-olds. That program expands into our workforce pathways, which go from 18 to 104, because I used to say 99, but I met a 104-year-old young person who told me that she wasn't old, she was vintage. And she was all about, the technology. And so we have a program called Dex Plus that's specifically designed for older folks, 65 plus year olds. And honestly, we teach the same stuff that we teach the 3 to 6-year-olds. Like, don't put your credit card information on the internet. Right. Don't do
that. Is a good idea though, because you do have a lot of like older parents and grandparents that are, clicking on stuff, clicking on phishing.
And they've never really used a computer until lately, and they did not have anything.
I used to do this, and now I can't get there anymore.
That's right. And unfortunately, we've become a society where the only way grandparents could talk to their kids is on the computer, right?
Right.
And so we've kind of set them up for failure a little bit. And so we do have those age-based pathways where we talk about, in our Sprouts class with 3 to 6-year-olds, what is technology? Is a toothbrush technology? Well, it is. What's the difference between a toothbrush and a cell phone, right? And we also talk about put the device down, go out, take your socks and shoes off, and put your feet in the green grass and enjoy the birds and the butterflies, because the device isn't everything.
It's not going to provide that. It's really not.
No. And you've got to be able to separate.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Even as adults.
Yeah, I was just about to say, even at me, I have to physically separate from it, because if you don't, you'll be insane.
Yeah. It consumes you.
Right. It'll consume your whole life if you let it, just like a gambling or anything else.
It's addictive.
Right.
I know personally, I sleep with my phone by my head.
Me too.
When I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's the first thing that I do.
I know.
And, I live in the world where it's important, but
But is it that important?
Yeah, I've been having a conversation with a family member, and I grab my phone, and now I can multitask. And I often say, I did this the other day at William Carey. I was talking to somebody. I said, I'm not ignoring you. I'm actually going to open up my phone and bring up my AI so that I can show you while we're talking. But we as human beings have lost the ability to look someone in the eye and communicate. Our young people do not have that skill. They have this skill. They would rather text you than talk to you.
They will not answer, and then they will text you and say, "Did you just call?"
Exactly. And so, again,
that way too, though.
again, when you're talking about transition from education into workforce, our current workforce is an aging population, and they grew up in a time frame where you come to work, you do what's asked, and you go home, and then you come back and you do it tomorrow. Our current populace of individuals that populate our planet lived through COVID, and they
Right.
have decided, I don't want to go back to that. I want to work from the comfort of my home. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I don't really care if I can pay my bills. And we're seeing a lot more of that. And because of that, we're seeing young people look at mom and dad and go, I don't have to have a corporate job. I can start a YouTube channel. I mean, I don't know if y'all know who Mr. Beast is, but he is,
Right.
he's changed the way our young people really look. When we were growing up, you either had to be a rock star, you had to be a musician, or mom and daddy had to have oil money in Mississippi to be something, right?
Right.
And so that is a complete paradigm shift to now all I've got to do is film this strange occurrence that happened in my yard, post it on YouTube, then talk about it, film myself playing Minecraft, doing mind-numbing things, dropping refrigerators off of a tower to hit the ground and let's see what happens. Crazy science experiments. Go to YouTube. You can pretty much watch anything that you want to.
Eating
believe me.
Tide Pods.
I have a teenager.
whatever.
I have seen it.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so what do you do in a world that has basically taken their brain cells and dumped them into a fishbowl and refused to use them? I mean, that's what we're seeing now. Is when I talk about critical thinking, everyone in this room knows where the fire exits is because we probably paid attention to that on the way in. But if you go into a classroom full of kids right now and say, how would you get out of this room if it was on fire? They sit there looking around without an answer. I mean, that's a human thing, right?
Mhm.
And so we're starting to lose that. So one of the things that we push at MCA is usage of the technology, how it betters you, how to utilize the tool properly, but also we keep the human element and the communication tools, what you need to be career minded. When you come through our program, yes, you learn some technical stuff,
Obviously, yeah.
but we're also making them ready to be career minded employees that walk in and be able to answer the hard questions.
Yeah.
Troubleshooting is a human thing that I think we are losing.
Oh yeah.
You know,
You can Google it.
exactly. And I'm as a technologist, I will tell people I don't have the answer for everything, but I can Google with the best of them. And today, Google has turned into ChatGPT, Gemini, and on the way over here, so Carl and my AI, I actually talk to it through audio
Sure.
while I'm driving
I
because
do
it's
the
hard
same.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just had a personal issue that I was talking to him about, and I tell him when I start the conversation, and I call him a him. I say, hey, Carl, I don't want BS. I don't want you to fluff it up. I don't want you to just answer me to answer me. I really want to create a cognitive decision based on some thoughts that I'm having. And I know it's not a real person. I know it's not a medical expert.
Right, right.
I'm not using it for that. When I'm using my connection to this tool is to make me a better human being, because at the end of the day, I have to be responsible for the choices that I make.
Correct.
And the more informed we are, the better choice that we can make. Now, good, bad, indifferent, I'm going to live with that choice. And I've made some bad choices in my life.
Yeah.
I feel like in the last 5 years, with the advancements and the uses of the technology, I have come a long way as a personal individual, because now I have the entire power of the human race in my hand at any instant to be able to go, I don't know how to fix that dishwasher, but I can watch a YouTube video and guess what? I fixed the dishwasher. Oh, by the way, my dishwasher's having problems right now. So, but I mean, from fixing a car to
anything
to painting a picture, you have the power of the entire human mind at your fingertips.
It's just like when we see these guitar virtuos and they're like, man, can you believe this guy's 12 years old? I'm like, he had YouTube.
Exactly.
We didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were like,
we had Bob and Daryl.
Yeah. We were sitting in somebody's bedroom while the parents were screaming because
Turn
it's
it
too
down.
loud.
Yeah.
Turn it down. And we were figuring it out as we go. Oh, I think that's Iron Man, but I'm not sure. So yes, it is a different world. About the nonprofit end of it.
Yeah.
So if somebody, her daughter, me, her, or some other friend of ours, kid or adult for that matter, was interested, we know there's no cost involved.
Yeah.
How does it work? Do you have to be approved?
So step number one is go to our website, mscodingacademy.org, and click on the Apply Now button, big orange button, can't miss it. And then you go through an interview process. One of our technologist support team members will reach out to you and say, why are you interested in this?
Right.
And then you start your journey through Next 360, which is a foundational interpretation of what's going to happen throughout your next journey. As far as being a nonprofit, we are that 100%. Sure. We are 100% grant funded. So we have donors like Kellogg. So Kellogg Cereal has a philanthropy foundation, and they are one of our largest contributors. The Walton Family Foundation from Walmart is another.
Sure.
There are local businesses like Ergon. We have partnerships with USM. We have partnerships with Jackson State University. So our money comes from a plethora of different places. But there is no cost for our workforce development opportunities. Now, we are starting some paid programs around some enrichment that would be very useful to create commercial settings. So, for instance, we have a drone program that's about to launch in August called Next Flight. The first week is absolutely free. It costs you nothing. And then weeks after that, will be around some paid opportunities for flight.
You may have to just hit pause.
There we go. Yeah, there you go. So our software development course is a transition from what we used to teach to exactly what we have going on right now called Next Stack. There's zero cost to it. It's a 32-week in-depth understanding of the fundamentals of software development.
Wow, 32 weeks.
Yeah. Now, what we teach in that class doesn't teach you everything, but we give you a good rundown of what you need to be in the world as a software developer. The problem is, here comes AI, and it can do everything that we teach in this class faster than you can do it. Now, in the same moment, something is going to happen with that AI created code that's going to break. And someone that vibe codes or uses the AI to create this app, they don't know how to fix it. Graduates of our program, they do know how to fix it. They also know how to be more expeditious in the ability to create things by using AI. So we're still creating technologists that understand the technology behind the curtain, because it is going to break.
Yes.
It is going to break, and somebody needs to be able to fix it.
Right.
Our artificial intelligence programs go in depth into why AI is so powerful, and how it works, what neural networks are, and language models, and all of the things that you could learn at anybody today. Every college, every institution. MIT has a bunch of free stuff out there. You see it on Facebook, you see it on LinkedIn. Coursera, there's 100 different flavors out there to be able to do. What I can tell you is, if you come through MCA to learn any of our pathways, we try to put the human element behind it.
That's what I was just getting ready to say.
We're trying to give you real world aspects, and we will tell people, straight up, this isn't for you.
Yeah.
Well, let us help you find another pathway.
Sure.
And not everybody's a software developer. We have other pathways. Cybersecurity. Okay.
Mhm.
The entire world that we live in today is vulnerable to cyber attacks.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Everything we're doing,
You
including
Experience
right,
it almost every
including
day.
right now.
This podcast could be
Yeah,
taken
yeah,
over by
right.
somebody that don't want us to
Right.
be on air talking about what we're talking
That's
about.
right. At any second.
At any second. And we could just get a notification of, hey, we're off air. you
Yeah.
know? So the world of cybersecurity is cranking up. The usage of drones in warfare, right,
Cranking up.
has changed the way
Yes.
that we do things fundamentally. And they're all connected to something. So cyber warriors is a huge area of focus right now. Our Next Defender program is a 6 and 12-week program. So there's a 12-week program for somebody off the street that just knows the word cybersecurity, but that's all they know. We have a 12-week program that takes them from A to Z. When they get to the finish line, they are actually taking a globally recognized cert through CompTIA for Security Plus. That's the cert you have to get a job in cybersecurity. And then you can do it in 12 weeks through MCA.
That's really good.
We have a 6-week program that is for the practitioner, somebody that knows what cybersecurity is, but they don't have the cert. I need this cert to either do better in my current job
Get a
better
Get a
job.
better job. Right.
And so we're entering a program right now with Copiah Lincoln Community College in Natchez. They just
Co-Am.
had 5 people graduate their cybersecurity program, and they need the Security Plus. It's real simple. Meet our metrics, pass the test, done deal. No cost. So these CompTIA certifications are expensive too. Not everybody's got $3,000, $5,000, $6,000 depending on what the cert is. We pay for that. That's all covered as part of the grant
Wow,
process.
That's huge.
Wow.
That's
So
huge.
not only are you getting the validity of a Mississippi-based organization that really cares about you, we're teaching you professional development skills. You also get globally recognized certifications. Our AI program, we're focusing on NVIDIA and Intel certifications, Amazon certifications, Google certifications. Our drone program works through the processes of getting your FAA 107 commercial drone pilot's license. And oh, by the way, there's a bunch of changes coming down the line. So it will be 108 eventually. And we're adding those things to the program. Same thing with robotics, same thing with hard trades. So traditionally, hard skills such as welding and HVAC and plumbing, oh, that doesn't work with a computer. Well, it does now. Have you looked at your house? Have you looked at your Google Nest that controls everything in your house? So those hard skilled trades are something that we are starting to bring along in the processes, because every job today is a computer job.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have a guy over at your house that used to have a couple of screwdrivers in his pocket and a little red toolbox. Now he's going to have an iPad.
That's right.
And he's going to start pushing buttons on that iPad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to fix the problem, or quote, maybe fix the problem.
That's right.
But it all starts with a computer now.
Yep.
It does.
And ends with one.
Because they were dispatched through a computer. I can guarantee you that.
That's right.
That's true.
Yes.
It comes all the way down the line.
And any
Mhm.
appliance that's new
Yeah,
is a
Is a computer.
100% computer.
absolutely.
I mean, the refrigerators talk to you, sing to you,
You know,
they do everything.
it's funny. I brought
Yeah,
this
those are
up.
weird.
I brought this up at William Carey a couple of weeks ago. You know, the devices listen to us. We talk
Yes.
about the scary part of technology,
Yes.
but blue shoes. Anybody listen to this podcast and their phone is in any type of distance, you're going to see in your algorithm blue shoes because it heard it, right?
Mhm.
And all of your devices are owned by someone that wants your data. You know, Vizio, bought by Walmart. Why? Because they want to see what you're watching in your house so they can feed you ads.
Oh, yeah.
Roku. Yeah, same thing. Your car, if it's a new car, it's connected to something and it's paying attention to your data. Your washing machine, your refrigerator.
Absolutely.
It is.
And I was just doing a story on my morning show today regarding Walmart, for example, moving, which is happening now. And people say, well, that's not going to happen around here. Yes, it is. Electronic shelving pricing.
No, they already have it.
Yeah.
Right. Which means when you walk up to buy an item, they can literally change that while you're standing there.
Exactly. Because of your demographic, because they knew who you were when you walked in the door.
Who you were when you walked through the door.
Yeah. When you got into the parking lot. So here's the funny thing about AI, because we talk about the good and the bad, right?
Right.
All right. So there are cameras at Walmart. They face the parking lot. The second you enter, they're already tracking you. All right. But you have Walmart Plus and you use Walmart at home and you've ordered. So they know what you like and you don't like. So when you're going to buy a Nabisco product and they know you come from a decent part of town and you have a big bank account because you spend a lot of money with them, they're probably going to raise the price on you. And you as a consumer aren't going to know that. Is that happening? Absolutely it is.
That's the article that I was just referring to. That's exactly what they said.
You know, and you talk about the ethicalness of that. You know, as a musician,
Right.
we know what our worth is, right? And often as a musician, you either play because this is what they want to pay or you don't. And so we've had this thing going on in the musician world for quite some time is how do you create self-worth, right? Well, the algorithm is starting to figure that out as well, right? We're starting to see the applied usage of technology to change the way as humans we fundamentally think. And this goes back to the creativity thing, you know, that your daughter is experiencing. Again, we, the humans, have to be in charge of this. The things that are happening with the price changes with the digital technology in the store, a human has done that. And a human has done that to other humans.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem lies.
Right.
Because these devices have learned from humans and human experiences.
Yeah.
That's where they've learned
Yeah,
from.
exactly. And that goes back to the whole Terminator statement. I mean,
It does.
that is something that can really happen if we don't plant good seeds. You know, is it unethical for a corporation like the Big W to do those price changes? I don't know. Ask Kmart.
Yeah.
What happened to Kmart?
Right.
You know, what happened to local mom and pop shops? So it is what it is. We are a byproduct of what we're creating.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what we have been creating for the last 40 years plus. Man, this has been awesome. I enjoyed it. What about you, Kim?
Yes.
Learned a lot, man.
I know. My brain has grown.
I'd already told her, I said, when Bob comes on, you know, he's like wicked smart, but he's also
we're going to
cool.
have to have you back.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
I said, but he's also cool.
Yeah.
You know, he's a smart guy,
I try to be.
but he's also a cool guy. Obviously, he's a musician, so I got to share the musician love for him. But musicians also create. They have a creative
Very
side
creative.
too, big time. So we may not all be exactly on what we create, but we come from that side of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted to have him on here. And not only that, but for the workforce of the younger people, because I see so many younger people that don't have anything going on really.
Right.
I mean, they're just kind of riding that college out. I'm like, what are you going to do? Oh, I don't know yet. I hadn't decided. I'm like, look, get on a path, and your path should probably be technology, because technology is the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean it's taking us over and going to kill us? No, but it could, but that's not what it means. It means, and I tell them the truth, even about music or whatever it is, don't stand around in the background.
That's right.
Jump off the bench and get in the game.
If you're not
now.
first, you're last.
That's it.
Yeah.
Get
True.
off of the bench.
That hasn't changed
no.
in decades. That whole saying right there has not changed
No.
in decades.
And if you're not winning, you're losing. I
Mhm.
mean,
It's still,
and if you're
I
not
think
learning,
it's probably more a part of our world nowadays than it used to be.
absolutely, just like we were speaking of older people,
Mhm.
typically they're my age. And they're like, Daryl, how do you do all that computer stuff? And how do you do all this and the flyers and your podcast? I'm like, because I didn't stand around and wait.
Right.
I saw it happening in the early 2000s, and I said, "Hey, let me in, Bob, or let me in, whoever."
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't have anybody to teach me, but at the same time, I was like, I need to get
Yeah.
involved with this, because guess what? It's going to happen with or without us.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
so
right. Better
you
to
know,
be part of it than left behind.
that's
Right.
right.
You know, I want to tell both of you, thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely.
I'd love to come back anytime to talk, because I'm sure we could talk about a lot of things. But I'd like to, ask you two and anybody that's listening or watching to this podcast to let somebody know about MCA. Our website is mscoding.org. We do not charge for our workforce development programs. We will help you go from no job to job as fast as possible. We're not trying to keep you in the classroom. We're trying to get you ready to be a career-minded individual in Mississippi and beyond. So please share that. I think it's extremely powerful. We have physical locations. So we're in Jackson, Columbus, Clarksdale, Natchez, Vicksburg, Hattiesburg, and Biloxi. I think I said them all because we're in like 8 locations right now. But we also have online and hybrid options. We will work with you no matter what your circumstances are. We will help you help yourself. Now, you've got to be willing to do the work.
Sure.
We don't just give it to you, but we are all about breaking down barriers. So thank you for having me on to talk
So
about
say
this
it one more
today.
time. Where did they go?
So it's mscoding.org. So mscoding.org.
I say that so
That's
much.
easy.
I say that so much on my show. Let
That's
me go
right.
ahead and say it one more time.
Yeah.
mscoding.org.
That's
Also mscoding.org. Everything's on there. You can learn more right here on the screen at MS Coding. All those things, plus a whole heck of a lot more that we did. We could talk all night, literally.
Yeah.
But we want to thank Bob for taking time out of his busy day, because honestly, everybody's busy nowadays.
That's
It's
right.
just the way of life. Appreciate everything you do, brother.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
People all across America are building a life in recovery from addiction and mental illness, helping themselves
and helping each other, with friends, family, and community lending their strength and support.